Going on, guys? Clock's on the stove. Here to recap week 4 of college football, as well as dive into what you need to know for week 5. Real quick, it's an announcement. I am fighting again, October 22nd. Uh, Ticket link and pay-per-view link are both in my Instagram bio at FishyGraw. But today is about college football. It's not about me. And there's a lot of things that happen, a lot of things that are going to happen that we are going to digest, dissect, and discuss with you guys. Starting us
Yes.
off, number 5, Clemson, going to number 21, Wake Forest, beating them 51-45 in overtime. Zach, what did you see from this game?
I thought Clemson's defense and defensive line were going to play a way more determining factor in the outcome of this game. Um, Wake really loves that slow mesh, RPO style of offense. And I think Sam Hartman runs it extremely well. He's a very intelligent quarterback. Glad to see him healthy and playing the quarterback position the right way. I think he threw for like 6 touchdowns, just played absolutely
Yeah,
incredible.
6 touchdowns in no.
Um, yeah, just dominated. I thought Clemson would be able to cause more havoc up the middle, stuff the run game, force them to really air it out a lot more and kind of force Sam to make some mistakes. I didn't see that at all. What I did see though from Clemson is despite their lackluster defensive play, I thought uh, their quarterback DJ really stepped up and showed some true potential as a starting quarterback for the number 5 team in the country. Just absolutely solid, made some unbelievable throws. Was picking apart the defense. It's not to say that like Wake Forest defense is anything to brag about, but still, I've seen him perform a lot worse against weaker competition. So that was a huge step up um, from him at least.
Yeah,
So
I
that's kind of
agree.
what I saw.
This is the first game where you saw DJU and you were like, this kid looks like he should be starting at Clemson.
Mm.
And I've been saying it, don't count him out yet. Like I said, he had a weird year, bro. He had a weird year. He had a lot of hype. He played great in that Notre Dame game his freshman year. Then he follows in the footsteps of arguably the greatest college quarterback of all time in Trevor Lawrence. And that's a lot of pressure, bro. And it's his first time his entire life facing adversity. He's slowly starting to get there, and he looked. Dude, not only did his stats do spectaculars, 26 for 41, 371 yards, and 5 touchdowns with no interceptions. He's got 52 with his feet. He threw dots, and that's the one thing I wanted to see from him because although he was playing like not up to his expectation this past year, he was making the easy throws. It was the hard
Mhm.
ones that we weren't seeing. In this game, he was hitting everything.
Yeah.
I agree. Sam Hartman balled out as well. Their offense, I don't think Clemson's defense did a good scheme getting ready for that slow mesh. And also, the DBs at Clemson are not the same DBs that they used to have. They used to have lockdown corners like Quan Alexander's or Jari. Is it Quan Alexander? Something Alexander. I remember them having who was locked down. Like they've had notorious good, solid defensive backs,
Mhm.
and this year they don't. And I think that's something that can hurt them in the long run.
Yeah. Moving on, our next game, we had number 17, Baylor going up against Iowa State. Baylor pulled this one out 31-24. We had taken Iowa State heading into this game. I don't really have a ton of takeaways. I wasn't able to sit down and watch this game all the way through, but Iowa State really wasn't aggressive, didn't take advantage throughout any point of this game. They were trailing pretty much the whole time. Did they ever take the lead? No, they did not. So they never took the lead. One of the things that kind of like infuriated me was the turnovers. Iowa State had 2 drives where they could have taken the lead, and they ended up just turning the ball over. Really solid performance out of Shappen, though. I had really knocked on him, saying that they didn't even break 200 yards when they played BYU, and BYU secondary was nothing to like brag about. But he ended up going 19 for 26, 238 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's just better than what I expected. I thought we had the under and that didn't hit. And the reason why we took that is I just thought Baylor's running game was going to be a lot more prominent in this one. Instead, you had Reese, 21 carries, 78 yards, and a touchdown, who was the primary back in this. Baylor ended up taking this pretty easily, in my opinion. I don't think the score really reflected what we actually saw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I agree. Baylor kind of kicked their ass, and it doesn't show based on the points. I mean, Iowa State couldn't get a run game going, and that obviously hurts Deckers, your quarterback. He's not going to be able to develop, especially when you look at the Iowa State teams in the past with Brock Purdy, him getting really opened up, having Brees Hall back there helping him out. So that definitely hurt their style. Baylor played offense for the first time this season, which was crazy. I'm still not big on Chapin, and I think Iowa State did a pretty good job at containing the run, but they couldn't stop the pass, which is really weird, honestly, if you think about it. But all I gotta say after this is I want Matt Campbell to come to Wisconsin. I want to get rid of Paul
Mm,
Chris, bring Campbell into Wisconsin. I think the problem with him being at Iowa State is he's just as good at coaching. He can't get the kids though because no one wants to go to Iowa State. The kids will go to Wisconsin. So I know this isn't. I don't even know this is in talks, but my clock's on the stove take. I want Matt Campbell to go to Wisconsin and fix the program because the defense coordinator Jim Leonard's great, but I think Campbell could take him over. That's all. That's all I got to say for that.
yeah. Coming into our next game, we had TCU taking on SMU. This is another mistake on us. We had the SMU money line. TCU ended up picking up the win here, 42-34. TCU's quarterback, Dugan, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country at passing against the blitz. PFF dropped his rating. He's been doing exceptionally well in that regard. This is another one of those
Really
games where
fucking
this,
ugly though.
yeah, this is another one of those games.
Fuck it won't. This kid's
uh,
ugly, bro. He's
yeah,
really
he's so white, doesn't even register.
so ugly.
I will say this: this is another one of those misleading games where the score was kind of closer than what the
Yeah,
game actually
100%.
reflected. I did say take the over if you were feeling ballsy. So hopefully you got some cojones and bet the over because both of these teams were averaging over 500 yards of offense before the game, and TCU put up 487, SMU put up 476. Again, similar to the Baylor Iowa State game, SMU ended up losing this because of their two turnovers. And, I really felt the game was kind of lost in that second quarter, going down 28-7, especially that early against a Sonny Dykes led team. He's a really quality coach. I respect him a lot.
Yeah,
He,
big Sonny
not
Dyke.
really. SMU's not Power Five, are they? Or are they in fact?
They're AAC.
Yeah, yeah, they're AAC. Not for a Group of Five program. They're going to be solid. Um,
Who the hell is
you
it?
know, Oh wait, no, he's not on SMU. He's on TCU now. Excuse me.
Yeah, so what I
But
gotta say from this is Tanner Mordecai. I thought one of the biggest reasons I picked this game was because of him. He played 3 seasons at Oklahoma. He had a phenomenal year last year with 39 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. And I just think the pressure of a Big 12 defense, a real defense, was too much for him to handle.
mm,
I mean, not real, but like better than AAC.
mm,
I mean, he threw 2 picks, and like you said, those 2 turnovers really hurt them. Also, I bashed TCU for not being able to run the ball this game because they lost Zach Evans, I believe is his name. Yeah, Zach
was his name?
Evans to,
Yeah,
to Ole Miss, and
yeah.
um, dude, their running backs picked it up. They got a running back, K Miller. What's his first name? Kendre Miller, 17 for 142 and a touchdown, and Imari Demercado, who was 6 touches, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So they really shut me up. I'm not gonna lie. I think Sony Dykes is a legit head coach, dude. I really do.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out, Jake Bailey for SMU has easily become one of the top receivers in the country. 8 receptions, 163 yards, and a tutty. Dude is a beast. Let me try to find his stats from this year. Um, yeah. So let's go over. I'm trying to look at like game splits, but I'm having a hard time pulling up. Just from this year
I can
so
hold him
far,
up. What's his name?
Jake Bailey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
just so far, 12.
on the season, he has 12 recoveries, 205 yards, a touchdown, and 17.1.
Yeah,
Per games, he has 8 catches. Oh, he's only played in 2 games this year.
yeah, and he's balling
Yeah, and
in
he's
both
doing
games.
really well.
Yeah, they had talked about him going into the game, and he ended up being a big factor there. Obviously, one of the things that I'll just say lastly before we move on, if you give a running back pretty much 20 carries, Siggers, yeah, Trace Siggers had 19 carries for 60 yards.
You should.
You know,
I feel like if you had 20 touches, you should guarantee 100 yards.
yeah, yeah, especially in that context. He did pick up 3 touchdowns, but still, like if your running game is not that prominent, like come on, dude, like you're not going to win games.
Especially against a Power Five defense.
Yeah, and by now you should know our quote: "You run to throw, and you throw to run." It's kind of I'm gonna keep saying it until teams start to learn from it because it's really starting to annoy me.
So
But
another Big
I
12 team
digress.
that did a phenomenal job this weekend was the Kansas Jayhawks, beating the Duke Blue Devils at home 35-27 in Lawrence, Kansas. Should have been college game day. So we got some insight in this game. I talked to Mr. Anthony Nelson, Duke defensive end. He
Hmm.
said there was not an empty seat in that stadium, and he could not even hear the lineman next to him when he was on defense. He said it was so
Mm,
loud. And he also said Jalen Daniels is a very good quarterback, but they made him look better than he is. That is what he told me. He said
mm,
that two of his touchdowns came from plays they should have had him, or they had a miscue or something, and that they should have won this game. We're still very high on Duke because they can win, they can still go to the AC championship. Miami was the favorite on their side, and Miami sucks. You know, so
Middle Tennessee State.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, well, I want Duke to go, but I love Nelson. Regardless of what he said, Jalen Daniels is a freaking dog. 19 for 32. No, excuse me, 19 for 23, 324 yards, four tutties, no picks, 98.3 QB. Okay, 11 carries, 83 yards, a touchdown. Dude, this dude is good. Kansas is 4-0. I don't know how they're not ranked. It makes no sense to me. I mean, they're just freaking legit, dude. They are really
Uh,
good. This quarter, Duke also is good this year. By the way, they're producing. They were in that game. Um, I just is it crazy to say I think Kansas could win the Big 12? I mean, they got to beat somebody ranked first, but they should be ranked. There's no reason that they're not ranked. There's no reason they're
okay,
not.
so I'll address all of your concerns and your questions that you posed and your little eulogy right there for Kansas Jayhawks. Let me start by saying this: Jalen Daniels and has introduced himself as a serious Heisman candidate for what he's doing with that Jayhawk program because Kansas was nothing last year, and out of nowhere, they get him in there, and suddenly they're producing and firing on all cylinders. They have one of the best offenses in the country, and they're continuously proving that. It's not to say Duke is like one of the best defenses in the country, but they're extremely solid in my opinion. I think they're doing great. Um, you brought up why they weren't ranked. And let me say this: why they aren't. They had to rank Florida State. If you didn't rank Florida State, I was going to throw a riot myself.
I agree, but
Because
Kansas
it's
has just as much of a right to be ranked as Florida State.
yes, they both had a right to be ranked. I think they will be ranked after this week. I think they should be able to win and pull it off. Another thing, uh, and lastly, you kind of touched on it. You think they can win the Big 12? I said in our college football preview that people would call me crazy, but when I said Kansas State could win the Big 12, suddenly Blake Martinez is leading that program and they're looking
Yeah.
solid. Adrian Martinez, excuse me. Sorry about that. And they ended up beating number 6 Oklahoma
Yeah.
pretty handily. Take a bow, Mr. Martinez, because you absolutely dominated that game. Kansas State has proven their factor. There are a lot of teams in the Big 12 now that are really shocking. Like that just are pulling stuff out of nowhere. They're making big things happen. They're producing a lot early on in the season. And it's really shaken up what that conference is going to come down to later in the year. Because, I feel like there's a lot of teams in there that are deserving of rankings that haven't gotten ranked yet. Did Kansas State get ranked after this week? I
No,
believe so.
they lost to Tulane at home, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I do believe so.
So
I'm gonna
that's
I'm
a little
gonna I'm
upsetting.
gonna fact check myself, but they do have a loss. I know for a fact, and it's not a good team.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's just kind of how I see that program. Back to the Jayhawks though.
Tulane at home, bro. I swear, guys, I swear this brain is just a index of college football facts. I swear. I
Oh.
swear. But real quick, Zach, before we move on to the next game, I've been thinking about it, and I saw a Joel Klatt TikTok yesterday, and it described the Kansas Jayhawks season so far, and uh, the Pittsburgh Panthers season so far, and it without showing the teams who they are, just describe them, and it's like, well, you'd always put this team to be ranked over this team. Anyways, Pitt's ranked, Kansas isn't. The more I think about it, and the more confident I am in it, I think you don't do college football rankings till after week 3. I think everybody's unranked. Everybody's unranked. Okay. The only thing I think you should do, my dad talked about this and I kind of like it, maybe have whoever's the best team in the country, they have a number 1. Whoever won the national title the year before should carry the number one into the next season, and then everybody else is unranked.
So my kind of the way I formulated it was I don't think you have a top 25 until week 4. And the way I would do it is week 1, you only have a top 10 because you should have like a feel of what the 10 best teams of the
But this
country
is
look
the
like.
issue, Zach. This is the issue: is you're getting teams like Pitt and teams like Utah and stuff that shouldn't be ranked as high as they are, but their preseason ranking was high. When even though there wasn't a reason for it, they didn't even play a game yet. So what happens is if a team beats them, they get ranked high because that team was ranked high, even though that team didn't deserve to be ranked high. And then if that team just wins out on a shitty schedule, they're ranked high. You're basing a team off of a ranking when they haven't even played a game yet. So it's
Yeah,
preset that they're already good when they honestly they're not. And that's the issue.
yeah.
Is I don't think you should do it. I don't. I'm sorry. I'll let you go. I know I interrupted you. I'm just saying that's the
No, you're
reason
good.
for my madness.
Yeah. I I mean, I feel like there are teams where you'll have a solid idea of who will be good. Obviously, no one's perfect, and there are a lot of teams that don't make the necessary strides that you envision for them, and that's where you kind of have teams fall off. Um, Kind of like the Utah program, like they were ranked high to begin with, even though like I don't know why. Like yeah, they've been playing good the last couple of recent years, but they haven't really proven anything. But I think I think by keeping doing a even if you started with a top 5 because top five's pretty consistent. The top 5 doesn't usually change until about this week anyway. Do a top 5, the next week, then you do a top 10, then the next week top 15, then a top 20, and then a top 25. You keep introducing 5 new teams into the rankings weekend. So that way, once you start like we don't really have like these huge upsets because to be honest, if you were to strip all the rankings away and played it out, how many of these games would you actually call like upsets, like realistically? Like I wouldn't really consider a lot of them to be. We sat there. I know week 1, and we had a little bit of argument over Florida and Utah, and I was like, I think we're kind of disrespecting Florida a little bit. That was weird. Um, anyway, speaking of Florida, though, let's just hop directly into our next game. We have Florida, number 20 ranked Florida, taking on number 11 Tennessee. This is in
Knoxville.
um, in Knoxville. Tennessee pulls this one out 38-33. This is one of the games we got right. We took Florida plus 10.5. If I see, this is one of those things where I don't want to say I told you so, but I said if there was ever a team in the country that was going to make Anthony Richardson look like a Heisman candidate and give Florida fans a gassed up ego and head, it was going to be Tennessee. And the man ended up going 24 for 44, which, just over 50%, but 453 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Hooker, on the other hand,
And
22
two
for
and
20
two rushing touchdowns.
and 2 rushing touchdowns. But he finally got passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
He did what a quarterback is supposed to do. He was also the Gators' leading rusher, 17 carries for 62 yards, and the 2 TDs, obviously. And even on Tennessee side, Hooker, leading passer and leading rusher, 13 carries, 112 yards for a touchdown. Wow, that's kind of crazy for a quarterback. But
He's good, dude. That kid's legit.
yeah, I thought Hooker outplayed Richardson. I just think Richardson, because they were playing from behind a lot, they had to pass the ball a lot more. Gators had a chance to win this game by recovering that onside kick late in the fourth quarter. That was just pandemonium going on there. See, this pisses me off both ways because if anything, I think this made Tennessee look worse than they actually are. And I think for the Gators, it just gave them false confidence in what they think their team is because
Yeah, dude.
I don't think they're that good.
I hate Florida, and I wanted them to win this game. I can't stand Tennessee fans, bro. Can't stand Tennessee
Yeah.
fans. I can't stand the Tennessee culture. I hate Tennessee. What they did to Shiano is fucked, and they're always so overrated. Like they should not be in the top 10. I'm sorry, and it's just like, oh man, I think they're so overrated. I really wanted Florida to win this game. Like you said, they had multiple opportunities to win this game. Hendon Hooker's legit though. I'm not going to talk shit about him. He did get hurt and played through it. I wonder how that's going to affect the next game they have and their season down the rest of the road, or maybe he was just a tweak that game. Anthony Richardson had some throws where I was like, shit, dude, this kid's really good, and then he had some throws that I was like, I could have made that throw. It's just like he's so inconsistent, and they need to develop a run game, bro, because like they don't rush. Like their running is bad. It's bad, and you can't play in the
Yeah.
SEC with a quarterback that can't throw touchdowns and to rely on him to throw. This ain't Bryce Young. All right, so they got to
Yeah.
develop that. Tennessee looked good. They looked solid, but I still think they're overrated. I think Hendon Hooker's good, but I don't know, dude. I just feel like they haven't played nobody. I really don't. I mean, who would they beat? The Pittsburgh, who's not good. Ball State and Akron going into that game.
Yeah. I don't know. Just
And they're on a bye
not
week.
a solid showing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
It was
not,
great.
not big on them. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a hater.
Yeah.
I know I am being a hater. Fuck, I hate Tennessee. Fuck. Moving on to our next game, another one that we didn't do too hot on. Notre Dame beating UNC 45-32. I mean, you can you even blame us for this one though? Like let's
Dude.
be honest. Everyone and their mom thought UNC was going to beat Notre Dame. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It was at UNC too. I did not watch this game at all, so I don't have a single thing to tell you about it. But Drake May still balled out for 5 tutties. This kid's killing it. But I also don't think he's played a real defense yet. But 16 touchdowns and one pick on the year. Jesus, this
Yeah.
kid's slinging as a freshman. But yeah, I didn't watch this game. It just goes back to us being UNC haters, and like even when you think Notre Dame sucks, they're still better than UNC.
Yep. I mean, I didn't even watch this game. It was just a joke. Always checking the score update. I mean, honestly, what this came down to was I I kind of joked about it in our TikTok. I said UNC's defense was like a Catholic girl at her first year of college, just getting absolutely ran through, and that kind
Yeah,
of proved me right. Because I mean,
absolutely.
literally, UNC had a 7 point lead up until the second quarter, and then proceeded to allow. Wait, it was 14-14, and then proceeded to not score again until the score was 38-14. So 24 unanswered points, not a good look. Not a good look. Um, turnover battle was about equal. I mean, dude, when you're allowing 576 total yards of offense to Notre Dame,
Power Five program to a team that doesn't have a quarterback.
such a joke. Such a joke. Yeah, dude, they were almost sold out. They were attendance was 50,500, and
So lose to Notre Dame.
yeah, you sold out your home crowd to get shellacked by the Catholic school. Yeah, just not a good look. I don't even want to talk about it. I was so pissed off.
But yeah,
But
so our next game was our clocks on the stove game of the week and our lock of the week, and they both hit because because we like that. Because we like
we
that.
are like that.
Madison
We are like that.
University going to Appalachian State to play. We said hit the over. We said hit App. We said hit JMU. What was it? +3,
+7.
+7. They both hit 32-28. James Madison goes into App State and wins. And this game was nuts too. Okay, because App State went up 28-10 on them, and then didn't score another
28-3.
28
28
to
to 3.
3, and then did not score another point and lost 32-28. They scored 0 points in the first, 28 in the second, and then 0 in the whole second half. So
Yep.
crazy. Zach, I'm gonna let him take the mic because he's the one that really predicted this and called this. But damn, bro, talk about a freaking pick.
Yeah. I said I had a feeling in my cojones that JMU was gonna be able to pull a win out of this. Now given crazy circumstances allowed them to win this game. Absolutely insane comeback on their part. Here's what I have to say about it. If this wasn't JMU's first year in the FBS, I think people would have given them a lot more respect. Now, given App State has had some crazy games this year,
Very good.
if
Yes.
if App State hadn't lost to UNC in that shootout, JMU would have been a hell of a lot more respected because App State certainly would have been ranked, especially after beating
If
Texas
App
A&M.
State doesn't lose that UNC game, they're a top 15 team going into this game. They're probably at 15th.
Yes, yes, 100%. And then JMU, imagine that your first year in the FBS where you're supposed to get a step up in competition, you're undefeated, and you get ranked. So I could see them being ranked very shortly here.
Their
Obviously,
schedule favors them. The only hard game they have in like the honestly is they play at Louisville and they host Coastal Carolina, but those are both later down the road.
yeah. Dude, that Coastal Carolina game is going to be insane.
That's gonna be so awesome.
That is going to be insane.
Gonna
Yeah,
be
I could, because I mean, it'll be really telling though because Coastal Carolina and Georgia State just played, and Coastal Carolina blew them out. So depending on how they play against Georgia State, what kind of setup the kind of game we'll be having. The Marshall and Louisville, dude, that string of games right there, Georgia Southern, Marshall, and Louisville, those are not easy matchups. Marshall was able to beat Notre Dame. Georgia Southern is no pushover, and Louisville, although they're not great, they're
No, Georgia
still a power.
Southern. Georgia Southern beat
Nebraska,
Nebraska. Yeah.
yeah, but Nebraska is Nebraska right now, so big yikes. And that was also with Scott Frost, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Um, so we're not really going to talk about that. But yeah, super solid game out of JMU. I'm happy that we were able to nail the game of the week pick with that one, and we ended up pulling out a dub. Our next game, though, another just oh my god, this is a game that like we should not have covered, and then we should have covered for like 5 seconds, and then just didn't end up covering anyway because that's just who Oregon football is. But yeah, number 15 ranked Oregon took on Washington State. Oregon pulled out the win 44-41, but this was just a loss in our books. Look, I don't know why I keep making the same mistake. I don't know if like Bo Nix took my like football virginity or something because I keep trusting him and he keeps hurting me over and over again. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand what is wrong with me. He's dog shit. He will always be dog shit.
Good when we need him to be bad, and he's bad when we need him to be good.
Yes, like he just never does what you tell him to do. He's the problem child, honestly. Like I don't think this guy is gonna be an NFL prospect at any point. The dude just is not good. Oh
Washington
God.
State was whooping their ass the whole game, but going into the fourth quarter, it was 27-15. And then they let up 29 points in the fourth.
God, what a joke.
Like I think
Yeah.
I think I I don't even got much to say. I think both these teams are overrated. I think Oregon did get too much disrespect when they lost to Georgia, but I think Bo Nix sucks. And I think that kid Cam Ward is solid, but I think he hasn't played a real deep. Well, not when he played Wisconsin, he didn't do shit. So I don't know. It was just like a Pac-12 ass game.
Yep. I mean, dude, we had that point. We had that point in the game where like Oregon scored to take the lead, and I was like, well, it still doesn't help us because they're not covering by 6.5. So like, I don't really care anyway. And then they get to pick six, and I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, they're gonna do it. And then you give up a 7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive in 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got your head coach was supposed to be the linebackers coach from the national championship winning Bulldogs. This guy's supposed to be a defensive minded guru. And suddenly you go to a Pac-12 team and or Pac-12. Yeah, Pac-12, Big
Yeah,
12,
Pac-12.
Pac-12. Yeah, Pac-12 team and suddenly you can't play fucking defense. Why? I'm failing to understand. I guess it's just a Pac-12 thing. Like it's got to be something in their contracts that says you are legally not allowed to give up less than 30 points a game. Like
Yeah.
that's just yeah, like oh dude, it killed me. Oh, yeah. I don't have anything else to say on this game. I don't know if you do.
No,
But
I
let's just
don't. But yeah, the next game, I mean, we covered. We had
Wireless.
Arkansas +2 against Texas A&M, and Texas A&M won 23-21 because Arkansas went for a game-winning field goal, and went and hit the top of the goalpost and bounced back and didn't go in. So our Texas A&M's defense is legit. We never questioned it throughout the season. It was their offense. Their offense is all right. Without KJ Jefferson, Arkansas is nothing. They are nothing without
Yeah.
KJ Jefferson. He had 12 for 19, 171 with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 18 carries, 105 yards, and touchdown. Now, he did lose a fumble, and that hurt them. And it also took them to about the second half to start getting warm. But I thought Arkansas was a legitimate team this year, and they just proved that. Dude, you got it. Like, I don't know, dude. I just thought they were going to run through Texas A&M. I really did. And then that screwed College Game Day because College Game Day was going to go to Arkansas this week for Alabama at Arkansas, but now they're too low ranked.
Yeah, now it's just not even going to be a close game at this point. I mean, one of the things I'll say is if it wasn't for that 82-yard fumble return for a touchdown, I think Arkansas takes the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just pisses me off both ways because I had given a lot of praise to Arkansas to begin with. I was really high on them. I thought their running game was solid and getting Jefferson and at QB, he's solid. Um, uh, just a heartbreaker. And then just
It
any
was, it
any
was kind of a
I
shitty game, to be honest.
It really was. I had high hopes in the beginning. I mean, Arkansas took a 14-point lead. I want to say, I don't know how early. Yes, they took a
The
14
first
point
quarter.
lead in the first quarter. Yeah. So, you're thinking Arkansas is going to run away with this one, make it easy, and then, of course, just not able to get anything going. I just, I hate giving any credit to any Jimbo Fisher team at this point. I mean, I despise the man for what he did to FSU. I hope he has nothing but failure in his future. And you can quote me on that. I don't care. So I'm not a Texas A&M fan. I'm not a fan of most college teams that are stationed in Texas. College Station, whatever. I hate you. Texas will never be back. Texas A&M isn't anything. Texas Tech apparently loves shoving players.
Yeah, I know. Fuck that.
Yeah, just terrible state. Um, and everyone that lives in Texas is so gassed up mentally. Um, Way too prideful human beings. So this is just a podcast full of hate,
Yeah.
just despise. Like we're
Yeah.
haters.
Our next game, Florida State hosting Boston College. We
All
did
right.
not think Jordan Travis was going to play, so we did not. We thought it was going to be plus 17 and a half for Boston College. Didn't happen. Florida State destroyed them 44-14. It is what it is. Florida State's back, baby. They're ranked. Let's go. Jordan Travis balled out. Rodemaker had a decent game, 3 for 3, 29 yards. I mean, it was just a game to kick ass. Sold out the stadium. Like it was parents' weekend. Like it's just one of those games. Like that's how it is. And this is
Yeah.
huge for Florida State fan because you haven't seen them blow out a team in so long.
Oh yeah. Another thing I'll say, you know, even with Travis starting, you know, I thought we covered. Dude, why does this keep going off like this? I don't know why the volume keeps going on, but let me just mute my computer. Anyway, I I did not think we'd go up 21 nothing that fast. We scored 37 unanswered points to start off the game.
Took the
Before
opening kickoff to the house.
that was lit. That was insane.
Yeah,
I was already losing it off rip. Another thing I'll say, FSU's running back room is still insane. I love Trey Benson.
yeah, he's
I love this man. He is a dog. Got him from Oregon. Dude is filthy. I look. I don't want to be quoted on this yet, but at one point do we put Travis in the Heisman contention?
dude. You don't even have to go that far. He hasn't been on a single top 10 quarterbacks list I've seen this week. Not one.
And he's the third highest rated quarterback in the country through week
Yeah,
4.
and he has not been on one top 10 list I've seen all week. And I've seen like 10.
Yeah, like
I
I
don't know
don't
what more he
understand.
has to do.
Apparently beat Wake, Clemson, and NC State back to back to back,
Yeah, the
which
kid's the kid's good at football, dude.
kid is good at football, let me tell you. But yeah, nothing more to say on that. Those are kind of our pick. Oh, we had one more game that we had bet on. Number 7 ranked USC taking on Oregon State. Wow, could we have been more wrong about a game? We had the over at 70.5, bold, and we had USC -7, bold. Let me put it this
Bro,
way.
USC should have lost this game.
If it wasn't for their 4 turnovers on the defensive side of the ball, they definitely should have lost this game. Caleb Williams didn't even break 200. Addison had 3 receptions. You know, I didn't really get a chance to stay up and watch this game. I thought wouldn't even be that close. Oregon State had been giving up a ton of points
Dude, it was
defensively.
17, it was 14-10. And Jordan Addison caught a touchdown with a minute 13 left in the game to win. They should have lost this game. Their defense pulled it through. It was nice to see that, their defensive team too, but Oregon State's legit. Their quarterback sucks. Their defense is good. But it showed there's holes in the USC game, bro. It showed there's holes in the USC game. If you're a USC fan, you're mad because of that, but you're also happy that, you actually have a defense. They did something. But it showed there's holes in the game, and Caleb Williams can get rattled. You shut down Addison, it's really hard for him to get going.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Nothing really more to say about that. This could also just be just one of those like really off weeks. You know, you overlooking your opponent. We kind of
It's the
saw with
first
Arkansas.
real environment they played so far.
Yeah, and they did not perform. So I guess we'll see moving forward. Some other games to look at.
Yeah, but they don't
Number
have
one
fucking
ranked.
nobody on their schedule, bro.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't. Another game that was a lot closer than it needed to be. Number 1 ranked Georgia taking on Kent State. Kent State fought their ass off
Yeah.
in this one. You know how the saying goes, when you head into the number one team in the country's house, you're gonna get you're going to get your best football. Anyone that plays the number one team in the country, you're going to get their best football. Nick Saban always says that. Teams, they mark you down on their calendar. That is going to be their game to them. And Kent State really proved that. They were no pushovers. They said, screw your name, screw your ranking. We know who you are, and we don't care. And if you're a Kent State fan, you should be proud, even in a loss. Um, you know, pretty sure the spread on this game was like
It was a
50
lot.
goddamn. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, and they surely covered that. So congratulations.
All I gotta say is like, yeah, they came in, they played. Georgia got it done regardless. So I don't think I'm not bashing Georgia. They got thrown off guard and they kept their cool. But Stetson Bennett, the guy who's been playing, this great football all season that everyone's saying he's actually good, did not play good at all. And that's scary if you're Georgia because if he plays bad, you're not scoring. That's not good. But yeah, I don't think Kent State's like a good team or anything. I think they just came prepared, and I think it was cool to see that. Got everyone because this UGA team has been like looking like they could run through anyone. To see a team like Kent State do that, it shows that there's still hope. There's still hope.
Still hope somewhere. Next game, this was one of my favorite games of the weekend to watch. Middle Tennessee State beating number 25 ranked Miami 45-31. Miami, I saw a funny tweet. I had sent it to Grayson. I'll try to pull it back up in the meantime. But it cracked me up because it says, hurricanes rarely do what they're projected to. Some veer left or right or even go straight. Then sometimes they lose to Middle Tennessee State at home. This is very telling of just the program at Miami. And, I'm kind of conflicted because even as a Miami hater, um, I like Mario Cristobal. When they signed him, I was like, he's a solid coach. They're probably going to end up being good. And, in my eyes, I can hate Miami and I can hate Florida, but I still want them to be good because at the end of the year, when we play those two teams within like a 3 week span, if we're all highly ranked, those games make for bangers.
Yeah, and it
And the
also
whole,
helps the status of Florida State.
yes, it does every time. So, I would appreciate greatly if the entire state of Florida could return to being a great recognized football state.
Phenomenal.
We will be back. Yeah, we will be back there eventually. Kind of sucks that Florida State has to kind of carry the load again. Just dragging ass with these sorry programs, but it's okay. We're used to it.
I think I was talking to someone about this the other day too. I think it's impossible to bring Miami back. I mean, so think about it. One, no, the reason why Big Ten teams and like SEC teams and like Florida State and schools like that do so well is because when there's a football game and there's a big sporting event, that whole city is that's what that they're doing. They're shutting down business. They're going there. Like that is their surround. They bleed for that school. No one in Miami is like, oh, it's Saturday night. Let's go to the Miami Hurricanes game. That's not how that works. That's not how like Miami works. Like people they don't have a culture. And even say every single student at their school went to the game. That's only 17,000 kids. So in order to sell out a stadium of 60,000, an NFL stadium with all people, you need a community. You need more than a school, and they don't have the community, and they don't have the school. Even when they were the U, they only had 30,000 max at their games. Like you can't do it. You can't build Miami back. I'm sorry. It's too big of a city. It's just one of those issues where like big city schools don't strive in sports, at least in the
Yeah.
collegiate level. They're not going to do it. I never thought Van Dyke was worth a shit. I did think Cristobal was going to make them straight, but fuck, they're bad, dude. They're really not good. And that gives hope to Duke going to the AC championship, though, which is huge.
And it's going to be a lot more fun when Florida State whoops that ass.
Yeah,
I don't know if that game's in Doak this year
it
or
isn't
not, but
Duke.
yeah. Our next game though, this is a shocker. Minnesota taking on Michigan State. Michigan State, I had just dropped out of the rankings from the week prior from
From
their loss to
11,
Washington.
from 11.
Yeah, to unranked. Surprising. But then again, I guess it's not so surprising considering they were getting shut out 34-0 before scoring a touchdown with what, 17 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, golly, what a fucking joke.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy. I didn't watch it. I just saw the score after and I was like, holy shit. Their
Yeah.
quarterback
No,
sucks. They couldn't get a run game with Jalen Berger. Tanner Morgan at Minnesota is actually really fucking legit, dude. He's not getting talked about enough.
yeah. 23 for 26, 268 yards, 3 tutties.
Dude, this
One of the
Minnesota
big
is fucking legit, bro. They're solid, and their head coach, I can't remember his name. Row the boat, dude. I can't remember his name.
I'm trying to find it real quick to see if their head coach got quoted saying anything. What I will say though in the
I'll
meantime,
remember, right?
Muhammad Ibrahim, the running back from Minnesota, 22 carries, 103 yards and a tutty. He was solid.
Gross.
Uh, just solid game all around for Minnesota. I mean, a really, really good step on your throat game, especially for them. That was awesome. I love seeing that. That was great.
Dude, it's gonna really piss me off if I don't find this dude's name. The bald guy, row the boat.
Fickle?
No, Luke Fickle
No.
at Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
He was the old Western Michigan coach. Fuck, what's his name? I'm gonna look it up and it's gonna piss me off.
PJ Fleck.
Yeah,
PJ Fleck.
damn it. Yes, PJ Fleck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Minnesota's legit, bro, and they're probably gonna win their side of the division because they don't have to play Ohio State or Michigan. They have a very, very favorable schedule.
Solid. Happy for them.
Yeah.
Our last little quick review game we'll go over. Kansas State taking on number 6 Oklahoma. Kansas State ended up pulling this one out. Wow. I messed up his name already. Martinez. What's his first name? Was it Adrian or Blake? Yeah, Adrian. I don't know why I want to say Blake Martinez. I think that was the previous quarterback at Nebraska because
I
they
have
had like an eight.
no idea.
Nebraska had like an 8-year stretch where they like their quarterback's last name was always Martinez, and I thought it was the same guy the entire time. And I was like, how many years of eligibility can you finesse?
Dude, Adrian Martinez balled the fuck out this game.
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
shit. 21 for 34, 234 yards and a tutty. 21 carries for 148 yards and 4 tutties.
Yeah.
And their other running back and their actual running back balled out too. Deuce Vaughn. They just a rush attacked this Oklahoma team. Dylan Gabriel still played very well. 26 for 39, 330, 4 tutties, and no picks. I don't know. I didn't watch this game, so I couldn't really tell you what happened, but Kansas State, I believe, has won the last 4 out of 5. Kansas State's won the last 4 out of 5 meetings with Oklahoma.
Yep. Just got their number. This game was in Norman, and one of my favorite things was so what was it? Oh yeah, you had Braden Willis for Oklahoma catch a touchdown pass. He scores, takes a bow because that made the game 34-27. It was a one possession game. They had been going back and forth the entire time. And rather than getting a stop, Adrian Martinez marches all the way down, gets another score. And when he marches into the end zone, first thing he does, takes a bow to the Norman faithful and pretty much says, "Go fuck yourself.
Dude,
I'm here. I'm better than you." Look, I've been a big non-believer. I'm not gonna say hater because like the kid doesn't do anything to piss me off, but I wasn't a really big believer in Dylan Gabriel out of UCF anyway. But he did play extremely well. 26 for 39, 330 yards, 4
he's not
tutties.
the reason they lost.
Yeah, he's definitely not the reason they lost. It was just you couldn't get a stop. I mean, Kansas State went up 14-0, and then literally you traded scores the entire game. You ended up letting them back in. They tie it 14-14. Then you go 21-14, K-State up, then 21-17, then 24-17, then 24-20, then 27-20, then
I don't think
34-20.
Oklahoma ever had a lead.
They didn't
Damn.
at all. But yeah, I mean, great competitive game, great environment. It's always a great environment in Norman. You know, especially it's not Venables, is it?
Yeah, it's Venables. Brett
It's
Venables.
Venables, yeah. Yeah. You know, he kind of got OU under shitty circumstances, with Lincoln kind of just abandoning them.
Mm.
But, they believed in him when he came in and they loved him. And Oklahoma loves him. And, I kind of wish success for their program because he's such a great guy. And for what their situation has turned out to be, he's really done a lot for them. I don't know where they are in the rankings this week. I don't think they dropped that far, did they? 18. Oh, wow. So they dropped 12 spots. Jesus. But, you know, I'm still high on them. Not extremely high. I don't think they're a college football playoff team. I do think they can make a New Year's Six bowl if they keep on the pace they're at. I hope Venables continues with what he's doing there, I could see a long future for him. Hopefully they'll re-sign him as well. But that's kind of
Oh,
our
week
rundown. What did you want
five.
to say about it?
Nah, nothing more. Let's move on to week 5. So this is a game that Zach and I both saw, and it's like, hmm, you got number 15 Washington 4-0, led by Tampa's very own Michael Penix, going to 4-0 UCLA for your Friday 10:30 p.m. game. And Washington's only a -2.5 when they have done nothing but been great. 45 scored on Kent State, 52 scored on Portland State, beat number 11 Michigan State 39-28, where Michael Penix had 300 yards before the fourth quarter started. And then they just beat Washington 40, they beat Stanford 40-22. This is what UCLA has done. They beat Bowling Green pretty solidly, beat Alabama State pretty solidly, and then they beat South Alabama by 1 point at home on a game-winning field goal. So I am slamming Washington -2.5. I think they're gonna absolutely run the scoreboard all over them. I don't think UCLA is worth a shit. I think their quarterback's pretty solid. What's his name? Dorian Thompson Robinson. But
Yeah, no, he's solid.
I don't think they're gonna do shit to Washington. I don't think they have the firepower and keep up with Michael Penix in that offense.
Yeah.
I'm slamming
I'm
Washington 2.5.
Yeah, I'm fully with you on that. Washington -2.5. I just think Michael Penix Jr. needs a little bit more respect, especially leading this Washington Husky team the way he has. You know, I don't know what ESPN sees in UCLA. I mean, I know Dorian Thompson Robinson is a solid playmaker. Um, I don't, dude, I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what
No,
I'm
and
seeing.
it's not even like you could be like, oh well, they're gonna go into a hard environment. Nobody goes to the UCLA games. No, it's dead. It's completely
Dead.
dead. It's like the
Yeah.
Dolphins. You cannot put a college environment in a big city in America. I don't understand why people think it works.
I mean, it could work back in like the early 2000s, but like nowadays, like
No,
just
not
not working
nowadays.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work anymore. People don't really like aren't in love with programs like they used to be. It's just not. It's not. The game isn't what it once was. We're not going to touch the over or under on this game at 64.5. I think it's just too risky. Both of these teams haven't really been challenged outside of um, Washington with their game against Michigan State, but then Michigan State is kind of proven to be fraudulent. So I don't really know. I'm a little, I'm just a little confused about that matchup, so I'm not sure. Our next game, though, we have number 4 Michigan
You're taking the
taking
over.
on. No, I said I don't know. I don't know if I want to touch
Yeah,
it
I'm
or
buying
not.
touch the over. But I want
Yeah,
to wait. I want to talk about this next game real quick. We got Michigan taking on Iowa at Iowa. Michigan's coming in at a -11. Iowa over under is 42. So Michigan's a top 5 team going into Iowa. Let me tell you a little something crazy. Iowa versus top 5 teams at home. Okay, their last 5 times they played. October 30th, 2010. Iowa beat number 5 Michigan State at home 37-6. November 12th, 2016. Iowa beat number 2 Michigan at home 14-13. Their only law the September 23rd, 2017, Iowa lost by 2 to number 4 Penn State at home. November 4th, 2017, Iowa beat number 3 Ohio State 55-24 at home. And their last time they played a top 5 team, October 9th, 2021, Iowa beat number 4 Penn State at home 23-20. So they are 4-5 in their last five games against top 5 opponents at home.
wait, 4-5 in their last 5, or
They're
4-5 in their
four
last 9?
in the last 5 times they've played a top 5 team at home. They've won 4 of them.
Okay,
And the one
okay,
they
I get
lost
what
was a
you're saying.
2-point game to Penn State. Now this Iowa team sucks. Like I love you, Dane. I like I even like the Iowa program, but they suck. Okay, so I don't think they will beat Michigan. Personally, I'm sorry, but I don't think Michigan wins by 11.
Hmm.
That's what I'm gonna say. I don't think they've really found. They're blowing out shitty teams. I understand that, but there's just something about playing at Iowa when you're a top 5 team. It doesn't go well for you. That environment's going to be crazy. They struggled against Maryland. This defense for Iowa was much better than the defense for Maryland. I just see it being a low scoring, boring ass game where Michigan wins via run game because Petrus blows.
I agree. Yeah, I'll take Iowa plus 11 here. Um, like you said, going into Iowa is never fun for anybody. Despite not playing well, I think their offense still has picked up a little bit. You know, you kind of, I mean, nothing really to brag about going like putting up 27 on Nevada, considering how they played recently. I mean, I love you, Bentley, but you guys haven't been playing the most solid football as of late. And then you went to Rutgers and beat them 27-10. You know, Shano, solid defensive minded coach. Rutgers program isn't like abysmal. They are pretty bad though.
That's a
You
good
think,
win though. That's a solid, respectable win.
yeah, respectable win, and you know your offense is kind of pick it up. You know, this over under at 42 is just very weird to me.
It's sketchy. It's very sketchy.
It's very sketchy. You know, I don't want to touch it because I think if we are going to take Iowa plus 11, it's going to have to be a low scoring game anyway. Um, and I just don't really trust either of these teams. You know, Michigan's last time out, barely beating a Maryland team 34-27, which they were losing a majority of the game. Um, yeah, it's just a weird game. We'll just stick with Iowa plus 11 for that one. Our next game, though, number 7 ranked Kentucky is taking on number 14 Ole Miss. This game will be in Mississippi.
With the dope
Miss
new
Ole,
helmets they're playing with too.
Ole Miss's new helmets.
Yeah, they're sick. I'm gonna see if I can pull them up.
So yeah, Ole Miss is a touchdown favorite, -7, over under set at 54. Ah, I mean, I'm not the most sold guy in the world when it comes to Ole Miss football.
Dude, their helmets are sick though. Look at these. Oh, come on, focus, please focus.
Are they like whiteout,
Do you think if I make it brighter, it'll focus, or make it darker, it'll focus?
darker for sure, for sure, ski. Um,
They're like camo.
oh,
They're
oh, okay,
blue, but they're like camouflage blue.
okay,
They're really
interesting.
fucking sick. Wish I could get you better. Yeah, they're
Hey,
really.
look good, play good, I guess. You know, -7, really, really.
Bro, they're
It's like,
-7, and ESPN has them. They're -7. ESPN has them as a 78.5% chance of winning.
yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I'm not sold on Dart. Dude isn't
I'm
great.
not sold on
Well,
Kentucky either, though. I love Bob Stoops, but I'm not sold on Kentucky either. I'm not sold on either one of these teams. Kentucky beats Northern Illinois by a touchdown last week, and Ole Miss beats Tulsa by a touchdown last week.
oh, yeah,
Dude, this is a real. This
yeah,
might be the hardest game to pick.
I'm gonna take Kentucky +7. Um, this is just weird. This is another thing I hate about the rankings. How is a top 10 team in the country projected to lose by a touchdown?
Ole Miss
Come on, bro.
environment's gonna be crazy, though, dude. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Will Levis being a leader. They're gonna. It's gonna be a close ass game. But Jackson Dart, like you said, I agree with Zach. He hasn't proven himself. He's still super young. Will Levis has been in this situation. They went to Florida and beat Florida. I like Kentucky +7.
Yep,
I'm not touching
I
the over
agree.
under though. I've no. It's such an unpredictable game.
Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
A good game though. It's going to be a very good game.
Yes. This next game, however, so number 18th ranked Oklahoma coming off that tough loss is -6.5 point favorites at TCU. Sonny Dykes program. Here's one thing I'll say. The over is gonna hit in this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, over is definitely
I
hitting in
don't know
this
who's going to
game.
win though, to be honest.
You know, I'm gonna take TCU.
I think it's either going to be. I think it's either going to be. I think it's either going to be Oklahoma showing that they're really good and they're back on track and blowing them out, or TCU proving to us that they're a legitimate contender this year.
I think Sonny Dykes. I think it's more likely that Sonny Dykes is gonna prove he's got a solid program down there in Texas.
We'll take
You
TCU
know,
money line.
do we want to go money line?
No, let's take the +6.5. I'll take that.
Let's just go +6.5.
I like that.
Be be safe. Yeah. Next game, Oregon State going to number 12 ranked Utah. Utah's -10. Dude, I don't
This
fuck
is a
me.
this is another really, really, really difficult game.
Because I mean, this is usually the point in the year where like teams really prove if they're actually made of something or not. Oh, Kansas State is ranked.
Dude,
And Minnesota.
we're gonna
And
take
Minnesota got ranked.
we're gonna take I'm gonna take it's the 10 that's bothering me. It's not the winner, it's the 10. It's,
Yeah.
it's the 10 that's bothering me. Because I think Utah's gonna win. I think the Oregon State quarterback sucks. I mean, he has 7 touchdowns and 6 picks, and I think Utah's defense will shut him down. Um, but I don't know if Utah will win by 10. Oregon State's defense is fucking good.
Especially after how they just played against
Against US.
USC. Um,
Damn.
dude, I'll take the under.
This is a hard game, Zach.
Yeah, I'll take the under on this game.
Give
I'll say
me
that, but
give me Oregon State plus 10.
fair enough.
Give me
Fair enough.
Oregon
I'll
State
take
plus
that.
10. I'll go on a limb. This will be my one game. I go on a limb. I think Utah will win, but I do not know if they will beat them by more than 10. I don't know. I don't know.
Fair enough. Um,
If
another really
Oregon
hard
State
game.
defense could shut down Addison and control to the most extent in Caleb Williams, they're going to be able to do that to Rising in this Utah offense. This Utah offense, this game, when I'm thinking about it, Zach, is not about Oregon State's offense versus Utah's defense. It's about Oregon State's defense versus Utah's offense. That's what this game comes down to. I think Oregon
Mm,
State's defense can slow Utah's defense offense enough that they're not able to run away with it. I don't think they will. I could literally see it being in like a 17. I could see it being the exact same outcome as the USC game.
yeah, that's why I'm hitting the under on this. I just think this will it'll be more telling of the defenses, especially Oregon State's. I'm just not really sold on Utah, especially after their loss to Florida. They haven't really played anyone since. So them bragging about 3 wins just doesn't really sit right with me. If you took away the rankings, I wouldn't really think much of this. Our next game, though, number 2 ranked Alabama heading to Arkansas, 20 ranked Arkansas, excuse me. Over under set on 61. Alabama is a 17-point favorite. How are we feeling about this
Other
one?
one where it's the exact same situation. I think Alabama's going to win. I don't know if they're going to win by 17. By 17? Have
Yeah,
they even beaten anyone?
17, 17, 17,
It's the most amount of
17.
points Arkansas has given up.
So far, Arkansas this year has given up 23.
24, 30, 23, and 27.
Oof.
Dude, I'm going to just stay safe and take the Alabama minus 17. I'm not going to touch the over under. I took my crazy pick with Oregon State. I'm going to trust in Saban. They're going to shut down Jefferson, and then that's over. There's nothing Arkansas can do. Their defense is fucking good, though. But I think Bryce Young will be too much for them. I think they'll take it away in the second half.
I'll take the minus 17.
Yeah, I'll take the minus. It's just so much safer.
Yeah, screw it. Minus 17. We'll ride with it. Our next game though, number 9 Oklahoma State going to number 16th ranked Baylor. Baylor is -2-point favorites in this.
Yeah,
Over under is set at 56.5. Now, look, I've never been completely sold on any
two and
Mike
a half
Gundy
now. It's
program.
Baylor 2.5 now.
It's 2.5 now. Oof.
Yeah.
I don't know why the line is shifting in Baylor's favor.
So last
This is
time these
another.
teams played was in the Big 12 championship, and Baylor beat them when Oklahoma State. If Oklahoma State won that game, they go to the playoffs instead of Cincinnati. Oklahoma State gets stuffed at the goal line and loses the game, and then Big
Mm,
12, and then the Baylor wins the Big 12. It's the last time they played. I'm leaning Oklahoma State because they have a high-powered offense, and I used to shit on Spencer Sanders, but he's playing very well this year. 10 touchdowns and 1 pick, 916 yards with an 80 QBR average. I don't think the Baylor atmosphere is anything too crazy for Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State gets it done in kind of a sloppy game. I think they're pretty well rounded this year, and Gundy's got it going. And I don't think that Baylor's going to bring any weapons that they're not ready for because they've manhandled everyone. Oh, I mean, no, they didn't manhandle. Yeah, they. I'm going to go Oklahoma State plus 2.5. Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
You can definitely talk me out of it if you convince me right now.
I'm just looking at games this year. They beat Central Michigan in pretty much a shootout.
No, no, it wasn't a shootout. They ran up the scoreboard, and then Central Michigan scored 22 in the fourth.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because
It wasn't a close game. They destroyed Central Michigan.
we took Central Michigan to cover. Arizona State, not really impressed, especially since Herm Edwards' staff is literally giving away his plays.
The only thing that
Um,
makes me think Baylor a little bit is they've played BYU's a legitimate program and Iowa State is a legitimate program.
mm, I want to say Baylor. I want to say Baylor only because the last time we bet against Baylor, they fucked us.
No, we bet with Baylor. We bet with Baylor and they fucked us. Oh no, Iowa State. Iowa State. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah,
we're,
no, we bet.
we're 0-2. We were 0-1 with Baylor and 0-1 against Baylor. Because we took Baylor to cover against BYU.
Oklahoma State, please don't fuck me.
Yeah, let's take Oklahoma State minus
Yeah,
plus.
yeah, please just
These
don't.
games this week are giving me anxiety, man.
Yeah, dude, because we had a rough week last week, and this week just, oh my god, I just don't know. I just don't.
Our
I don't
next
even want to. I don't even want to talk about this next game because I feel like my bias is playing too heavily into this, and I'm trying to fight against my bias. But then, like, you're reeling me in with some of this talk. But
This is all I
talk to me
gotta say.
about
This is
this
all I
next
gotta say. We
matchup.
got 3 games left. Let's get this done quick. Ready? Number 22, Wake Forest at number 23, Florida State. Florida State coming in at a -7, over under 64. This week started off with Wake Forest head coach. I don't know his name. Don't really care. Saying that this Florida State environment for this game will be nothing that they haven't seen before, and
Okay,
that because of the hurricane, it won't be as crazy, and it won't be as like that. This basically what he said is the Florida State Seminole Stadium is not going to be anything big. It's not going to be a lot of people there, and they prefer playing in big stadiums, and they like the big pressure, and they like playing in games like that. That's what he said. So then you know what happens after that? Florida State posts a tweet. Oh, Florida State account posts a tweet. Wake Forest is 4-12 in their last 16 games, in which the team that in which they're playing, so away games, has a capacity of 45,000 or more sold out, like 45,000 people there or more. And then as of today, Florida State is giving out 4 free tickets to all Florida hurricane evacuees. This game is going to be sold the fuck out. It's going to be blown up. It's going to be crazy. I'm taking Florida State +7. Wake Forest is not going to be able to handle the pressure. They're
Florida State
not.
-7. Florida
Florida
State
State
-7.
-7 is what I'm taking. We're rocking with it.
You
Go
know
North.
what?
Sam Hartman's getting exposed. This defense is legit. This ain't no Clemson ass defense.
I agree. If we blow out, if we do win by more than 7, though, we're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
100%.
going
Yeah, I
we're
think
going to playoffs. So you know what? Fuck it. I got high hopes for the Norvell train. We're doing this shit. Jordan Travis for Heisman.
them boys are ready, bro. Them boys are
Them
ready.
boys are ready.
The boys are ready.
Derek, I know you're up there at Wake going crazy. Your boy's gonna lose.
Yeah, they're gonna lose, Derek. Fuck you, Derek. Love you, but
Yeah,
fuck you.
yeah. Sorry. This is another weird game. Iowa State -3 point favorites at Kansas. Kansas somehow not ranked over under at
Give me
58.
Kansas. Give me Kansas. They're on
Give
the
me
hype
Kansas.
train. They're gonna keep it
Yep.
rolling. I don't see Iowa State doing shit.
Not even Kansas +3. I'm just gonna take Kansas money line.
Take it. Give me Kansas.
Yep. No more to be said. Jalen Daniels, hype, rock chalk, baby. And our last game of the day, college game day. Number 10 ranked NC State going to number 5 Clemson. This game is in Death Valley. Clemson is -6.5. Over under is set at 39.5. You
I
know,
take the over. I want to take the over.
I will take the over.
Yeah.
Yeah. This seems a little too suspect. 39.5 is a little too low for these two teams. I don't know what Vegas knows that we don't, but we're gonna take the over. here's where I'm confused.
What is
Clemson barely
oh,
beats
no.
Clemson barely beats a 20, what was it, 21 ranked Wake
Mhm.
at Wake, and suddenly they're even more favored against a higher ranked team. I mean, I get it, it's at home. I still think NC State is waiting to get exposed.
It's up to
Um,
-7 now.
Throwing at 7 now. Dude, dude, dude.
I just think it's safer to take Clemson. I don't think NC State's got anything that they should fear.
Yeah, let's get Clemson -7. I need Clemson to win this game anyway because when Florida State rolls in there and beats Clemson next week, um, that looks better for us, and then they're going to turn around and beat NC State.
Next week we're at
So,
NC State.
or so either way,
Give me Clemson -7. I believe in Dabo. I think DJU's finally starting to feel it, and I don't think NC State's got anything that Clemson needs to worry about.
facts. I agree. Now, one more little topic that I want to bring in here. I want to go over our watching schedule, how we're going to watch these games. So I'm just going to take a small little step back. We already have 2 games underway tonight. Thursday night, South Carolina State's at South Carolina. Utah State is at BYU. Both those games are live. Don't really care about any of the games tonight, so I'm not going to tell you to tune in. Friday, I will say tune into that Washington UCLA game. It's going to be interesting. It's at 10:30 at night. We love our late night football. It's just how it is. And then
And it's
when you
on
wake up,
it's on ESPN.
it's on ESPN as well, so we know you got it. Then after you stay up all night watching that game, you can wake up right around noon, get right into college game day. So let's look at our 12 o'clock window
You're
for
gonna want to
us.
watch number 7 Kentucky at number 14 Ole Miss, 12 o'clock on ESPN.
Yes, I would tell you to tune into those games. For our 3:30 time slot, number 22 ranked Forest taking on number 23rd ranked Florida State. If you want to bounce back and forth between 2 games, hell, even 3, there's Arkansas and Alabama playing, but I think you'll get much more of a better viewing experience watching Baylor and Oklahoma State. So feel free to switch back and forth between those 2 games. Moving on from there, we have our 7 o'clock to 7:30 window.
You're gonna have number
Um,
10 NC State playing at number 5 Clemson, 7:30 p.m. on ABC as your college game day.
and then we have 2 late night games. Um, oof. So we'll combine it into this like 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock window. I'm gonna say go ahead and tune in to Oregon at Stanford just because
Stanford
I
and
have
Oregon.
no, yeah, because I have no idea what the hell the outcome of that game is gonna be. I really don't trust Oregon, and I think Stanford could do something. Just give a little watch. Give a little watch. As for our game of the week, did you have any doubt? It's gonna be Florida State and Wake Forest. Duh.
Hey
And Florida
Trav,
State
baby.
and Jay Trav is going to win that game. Mike Norvell is going to have Tallahassee rocking an old Doak Campbell. So that's all from us. Those are our games. There's obviously 2 games Sunday as well, but I don't give a shit about Florida taking on Eastern Washington, and I don't care about UCF taking on SMU. I don't care. Neither do you. Hopefully, we can make you some money this weekend betting on college football. Although I will say, a lot of these games, I don't even know what's going to happen. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you with any certainty in my heart who's going to win or who will lose. But I can tell you that I will be drunk and I will be tuned in and I will not leave my couch other than to eat, piss, and open another beer. So that is all from
Thank y'all
me.
for tuning in. College football, week 5.